Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Saturday Cup Series. We sure are happy to be here this lovely Saturday night as we are going to be tackling some racing here at Phoenix, dueling in the desert for a preseason race actually, but this will be counting for the Super Cup season, of course. I have heard though that this race will not count towards this next Season 2 Saturday Cup Series, so interesting to see that. Of course, it still will affect those Super Cup Series points as qualifying is now underway. These guys definitely going to be trying to get around this mile track as best they can. It's going to be the keys to victory are going to be all about consistency and, of course, not messing up on pit road. My name is Brian Britt, and, of course, I am joined in the booth by none other than Big Al. How you doing tonight, Big Al?
Hey, doing pretty good, Brian. Excited to be here in the desert as we are definitely starting to dwindle down on the dole. But guess what? Tomorrow means the real race takes place, and I know all of our NASCAR fans should be pretty excited for that.
Yeah, 100%. I do want to go over the actual Super Cup Series points here at the moment. Chris Severa is at the top of the board with, I do believe, a little over 21, or actually a little over 20 points here over Jose Acosta. Kendall LeBron sits in third, Kenny Powell in fourth. Greg Wychinski holds fifth, Darren Mullins sixth, Frank Flores is in seventh, Derek Jacobs in eighth, ninth, Josh Shocker in 10th, Al Kozlowski. Of course, I don't see Al Kozlowski out there in the field here tonight, but guess what? Joey Preby is back this week, also Big Al.
All right, glad to see Preby back, as he did actually have to serve a little bit of a suspension, I think, wasn't it? One race maybe, but yeah, he's back in. He'll be back into the swing of things, mixing it up for us, and I just can't wait because being here on this track is going to offer a couple of things. One thing is going to offer some three-wide racing, and number two, they're going to be mixing it up quite a bit, Brian.
Oh, yeah, three-wide, four-wide racing. I know I saw a little bit of the Xfinity race today in real life, and those guys were going five-wide in some cases, and there's definitely enough room on this track for that to happen. But, of course, it's not sustainable a lot of times. We'll have to wait and see as we watch Chris Severa, our points leader at the moment, now up out there trying to get his qualifying time in. It looks like he's going to grab one, and he shoots up to the top of the board. Let's talk a little bit for today's race. Of course, ignore the Thursday part of that little graphic there, but this is the O'Reilly Auto Parts 200 at Phoenix Raceway. 195 laps we have on the docket here for stages 40 and 90, which definitely will be quite testing for these drivers, considering tire wear has been a huge thing here at Phoenix. 4 sets of tires, of course, going to be down in the pits, 5 altogether, including the ones that are on the car at the moment. Fuel window, 92 laps, so fuel not going to be truly the concern tonight, Big Al.
Yep, not at all, man. But we should get green flag pit stops, though, right?
We definitely hope so. I mean, it definitely is going to be something that could be a distinct possibility. And knowing these ISCA guys, I think we even saw green flag stops on Thursday, so I expect that to be the case here tonight. Maybe talk about a little bit of the track facts for tonight's race, some of the conditions out there, Big Al.
Yeah, it looks like we're sitting on 79 degrees with a 99-degree track temp. Wind's going to be out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. I mean, finding this under partly cloudy skies, so I think it's just everything you need out here in the desert. Even got low relative humidity, only at 27%, and no fog.
That's interesting to note. I'm curious how that affects the, the track conditions. And, a lot of people talk about tracks that are built in different parts of the world or country. A lot of times that influences their, what they're made out of itself as well. I mean, here at Phoenix, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of sand mixed in that concrete out there. It looks like qualifying is starting to get ramped up. Chris Severa still at the top of the board. Derek Jacobs just slotted himself into ninth at the moment. But definitely saw a lot of strength from Brandon Pasalakwa. One person in specifically, though, that we saw a ton of strength on Thursday, Big Al, and I know you'll probably echo the same thing. Scott Naslin finished in second place on Thursday and could have even possibly won the race. Could he be a threat tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Now, he was showing tremendous pace and a lot of promise. So definitely, as this guy's entered into the fray here, he's definitely going to be someone that you're going to want to keep your eyes on, especially for tonight's contest.
Yeah, 100%. Well, while we are draining the time here for qualifying, let's go ahead and take a step away and play our national anthem, and we'll be right back with your starting grid.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engine!
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
O'Reilly. It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the grid set for this evening's action. Chris Severa going to be starting on the pole with Brandon Pasalakwa starting in second place. Third place going to be Scott Naslin. Fourth place going to be Kenny Powell. Fifth place, Jose Acosta. Greg Wachinski starts in sixth. Seventh place, Josh Schaffner with Frank Flores in eighth. Ninth place, Darren Mullins. And rounding out our top 10 is Derek Jacobs.
Joey Preby comes in 11th with Pedro Enrique starting in 12th. Paul Osen and Gary Adamson round out this 14-car field. Not sure if Mr. Enrique is actually going to show up. I did see him, though, on the practice board, but I know he usually only races road courses. So
that's an interesting thing to definitely inform these guys about. I mean, if he doesn't show up, I mean, that could be a fact for sure. We definitely always see him at the road courses. Another fact also is Joey Preby, I do believe, was reading from a little update from Race Control, that he is going to have an EO well penalty here at the start of this race. Of course, we talked about him being suspended last week. Of course, I do believe he still has some penalty points to get rid of, and in order for him to do that, he has to do an EOL, I do believe. So a penalty there could put him back in the pack, and we talked about it, I do believe, on Thursday, on how important track position is here, Big Al. So I expect it's going to be very difficult to try to claw your way forward. But Preby, knowing him, he's got the speed to be able to do it.
Yeah, but with the smaller field, though, I think you're going to see these guys should spread out a little bit. And I don't think passing is going to be near as challenging as it was on Thursday. Thursday, I believe we had a field of about 28 cars, and that makes a huge difference as this field right now looks to be only 13, as I think Preby is the only, not Preby, sorry, but Enrique is the only car who is not currently gridded. Also, interesting to note, the 24 car, Mr. Kenny Powell, he seems to be having a little bit of a blinking issue.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I kind of was looking at Kenny Powell, keeps bouncing back and forth between existence and not. So hopefully that is something that clears up here, is where I do believe should be getting rolling here very, very soon. Of course, a long race here tonight, and 195 laps. I mean, it's going to be quite the ordeal for these drivers out here. They're going to be physically, I think, exhausted by the end of this thing. I talked about it on Thursday. The race, I do believe, in the NIS and the officials for iRacing are usually some of the longest races on the service. Those races were only 156 laps this week, Big Al. This one's almost 200.
Yeah, just short of 200, man, at 195 laps. That's a long time to be in the chute. So these guys definitely going to be showing a little bit of mental stamina just in order to be tough enough to kind of make this last. I know I couldn't do it.
No, I definitely couldn't do it either. It would be a very difficult thing for sure, as the pace car is going to be dipping down pit road as we get set to go green for the first time. Of course, these guys have a long journey through this back stretch to get to the front stretch before that green flag actually comes out. Of course, we did see that play a little bit of a factor in Thursday's race with, I do believe, some mind games on that back stretch. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case once again here. But here we go. Geico restart zone, and the green flag is out for the first time here tonight for the O'Reilly AutoParts 200. And Chris Severa, of course, going to lead us there as Brandon Pasalakwa tries to see if he can't get side by side. Not able to do so. Scott Naslin going to see if he can't take that second spot.
Yeah, Naslin and Pasalakwa are going to be battling side by side. As further behind him, Jose Acosta makes his way up to the front here. He's going to be solidifying his position in fourth place. Good to see Jose actually getting back up to the front. Now, question is going to be, do these guys push themselves extra hard here in this first stage, or they kind of chill out and kind of allow the stage to just kind of come to them, Brian?
That's definitely a very good question. I remember also on Thursday that Jose Acosta was one of the faster guys out there on the racetrack, but unfortunately he had an issue getting on to pit road. Now that is going to be something these guys are also going to have to deal with as well, as we see Brandon Pasalakwa tries to go to the inside of the 22. Also Josh Schaffner battling, I do believe, with Greg Wachinski at the moment. See Wachinski all the way up at the top of the track, and it looks like Schaffner's going to get that pass completed.
Still taking me a little bit of time getting used to the red Wachinski. Used to him, I'm used to my blue Wachinski. Now I got a red Wachinski, but looks like also Darren Mullins is going to slide by him, and he is right in between the 50 of Schaffner and the 5 of Wachinski.
Yeah, Darren Mullins definitely making his moves early here. I saw in practice one other driver that was really fast was Frank Flores. I expect him to possibly come up here and maybe duel for some positions as well.
Oh, Triple F Frank Flores. Always got to get the honorable mention. Mr.
100%.
Blue Light Special himself.
Chris Severa right now in the lead. Of course, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, he won last week's race at Las Vegas and has definitely been showing considerable speed. He's one of the, I think he is the winningest driver in the Saturday Cup Series, and also has the most championships as well, as we were looking at that Hall of Fame last week. But look at the drive he's getting off of these corners. I mean, he's able to kind of pull away a little bit as Scott Naslin's trying to catch up. But we know Naslin's fast, and we know if Naslin gets clean air, it's going to be all she wrote. And that seems to be a very important thing about this track is clean air, which is surprising with it being a kind of a short track.
Yeah, the funny thing, too, is these guys do actually have to stop again. They're not going to be able to just run. So be interested to see how this whole thing stacks up, because stage cautions are they're real, they're relevant.
Yeah, that they are, and stages, of course, relevant in another way as well when it comes to the points. You know, everybody's does want to get a stage win, because that is enough that it could allow you to go up that points pylon for this Super Cup season. And of course, it's a long Super Cup season. We've just kind of got it started a little bit ago, but now's the time to get as many stage wins as you can and hopefully put it together and get a race win as well. But the stage wins sometimes are more important. We talk about that a lot as we see Greg Wachinski fighting back with the 64 of Darren Mullins.
Yeah, I think these two guys are going to be, they should just settle in, because they're going to be battling for the majority of the duration of this thing. Looks like the 24 power almost kind of getting to be a little bit more. Nah, shut up, Big Al. There he is blinking again.
Oh, no. And Scott Naslin's been starting to put some pressure here on Chris Severa, but we know that Severa is the type of driver to where he's going to maintain that gap as best he can. He's not going to really try to push it too hard. Hopefully that sounds like that'll be the key here tonight. If you just use that clean air, don't try to pull away. Looking at the lap times, we're already seeing a bit of fall off here. You know, guys already hitting 27.9s, 28-second laps. So definitely going to be something that we're going to keep in mind because I do believe the fall off could be over 2 seconds here at Phoenix. Definitely have a lot of cameras down there on the track as well in a lot of these guys' cockpit. So interesting to see that. I do believe we have Greg Wachinski, Brandon Pasalacqua, Joey Preby, Chris Severa, Kenny Powell, and Josh Schaffner, all with cameras all over them, though. So that's going to be good to be able to watch that. Let's actually take a look at Brandon Pasalacqua at the moment. And you'll be able to see him on your screen. Pretty interesting to kind of get this viewpoint from these drivers. Kind of see them as they're struggling around this place. I wish we even had maybe a camera for some pedals, Big Hal. I think those would be the ones that get worked the most here at this track.
Yeah, definitely probably see a little bit of fancy footwork, if you will. The green flag racing is still continuing here. Lap 12 here in the first stage.
Yeah, definitely been some great racing as well. I mean, for the most part, everybody being kind of cautious, and I think that's to be expected early in this race. I think as we get closer and closer to the end of this thing, we're going to see it be more and more likely that people are going to be wanting to use that chrome horn. As Chris Severa still has the lead, Scott Naslin trying to do everything he possibly can to find some type of pathway to get to that lead. But Severa definitely protecting. Here comes Naslin to the inside. I think he's going to be trying. Is he going to be able to get side by side? He's not able to.
Definitely going to be setting himself up, though, because you can anticipate that he will be making a move for the lead here. Now, I don't think, well, I know that Scott Naslin and Chris Severa probably haven't actually had the pleasure of racing a lot together in the ISCA, but that is going to change here tonight. And Naslin is definitely showing that he is here to make a name for himself. I don't think he came out here just to chat and chill, Brian.
No, definitely not. I mean, if you look at his performance on Thursday, I mean, he almost had that race win in hand, led a lot of laps there. Seemed to have one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Even Derek Heitman, who ended up winning the race, thought that Naslin had the fastest car on the track, but unfortunately was not able to put it all together. Second place, definitely a good finish nonetheless. And Brandon Pasalacqua, the more that these top two battle, the more he's going to enter this fray as well, as long as also Jose Acosta. I mean, Acosta's not far back as well. All these guys in the top four within a second of each other here. Got about a little over a second between, I do believe, Acosta and Kenny Powell, and then almost a second between Kenny Powell and Josh Schaffner. Look further back, I do believe we just saw a pass for 7th place. Greg Wachinski getting by Darren Mullen.
Now, there's still going to be green flag racer here. I mean, we still have we're almost halfway through this first stage. But what I'm trying to say is we're going to potentially have green flag pit stops. And we did see they shook up the field quite a bit on Thursday. So we're going to always hold that in the back of our minds because it is still a possibility here for us tonight.
Yeah, for sure. We also see the emergence of Joey Preby. Of course, started at the back of this field with an EOL. Now finds himself up into 8th place, trying to battle with Wachinski. So he has definitely been on the march. And definitely seems like he's got a fast race car as he's going to be putting some pressure on Wachinski. Wachinski definitely trying to, looks like, pinch him down a little bit here, but they are going to go side by side. Oh, this is going to be a tight little bit of contact.
Very tight. Both drivers doing exactly what they need to do. Just hold their lines, Brian, and everything was fine. Wachinski going to try to counter. Going to come back on the inside. Not going to be able to get there as Preby kind of closes the door, true form.
Yeah, that was actually a really good move from Joey Preby. He raced Greg very tight, but I think that was some clean racing. Preby now moves himself up to 7th. Going to be trying to see if he can't catch up to Josh Schaffner, who's in that 6th place position. Of course, Schaffner has been kind of catching up to Kenny Powell as well, and we know Schaffner is the king of saving tire. But almost halfway through this stage, of course, Kenny Powell still with a little bit of a blinking issue there. And that is going to be seems like it's going to be plaguing him for a long time.
These guys all have the opportunity to try to jockey forth and get themselves some stage points, and that's going to be the most important thing. You got to have to risk it here, man. Even I think if you're not fortunate enough to be in that top 10 for the first iteration, I think maybe you mix it up and kind of short pit the stage, maybe try to get yourself out front and take advantage of track position at least, so you can try to get you some stage points on the second iteration. But I don't think anybody should be out there running the duration of this thing and not actually capitalizing.
Yeah, definitely. The points these stages pay are so important. And, maybe a little bit of an off the hand, kind of crazy strategy on pit road could be exactly what one of these drivers needs. But then again, I mean, looking at it, I mean, at a track like this, I think if you go down pit road, you might end up losing a lap. So it's going to be really, really close. I wouldn't recommend that for someone that's actually further back in the pack. But it could be a strategy. Maybe Scott Naslin plays, Yeah,
I'm saying, you just got to try your luck. I mean,
try something different.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's been the verdict on tire wear here so far with this new tire model that was just unveiled this week?
Well, it definitely seems tire wear is still a thing for sure, just considering, I mean, we're seeing right now, I mean, a second and a half of fall off already from even our leader, Chris Severa. Of course, he's one of the fastest on the track. The fastest on the track, that was Joey Preby. But, yeah, I think the results are in, and a lot of these drivers are saying they actually like the way the tires are wearing here. It makes it to where you have to really drive the car. You're not able to really just smash that gas on the exits. If you do, abuse those tires, it's going to be something that you're going to pay for a lot more than you would, I think, in the previous iteration.
The 43 of Paul Olsen comes down pit road.
It looks like Paul Olsen not liking the way his car is handling, as he is now going to go a lap down. Derek Jacobs in danger of possibly going a lap down this stage if he doesn't pick up the pace.
Also heard that the Olsen family might have had a little bit of a tragedy. Want to let them know that our thoughts and prayers go out to them, as these guys are experiencing a little bit of loss. Well, a lot of loss, but I'm saying they're experiencing loss.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely unfortunate to hear. For the sake of their privacy, won't go too much into it, but definitely hearts out to them. Prayers for sure to that family, and hopefully, they're able to keep strong, and comfort each other. Well, I was talking earlier about the fastest person on the track, and that has been Joey Preby. He is now caught up to Josh Schaffner, and is going to be seeing what he can do here to this 50. I'm telling you, this 16 is looking really, really good. They unloaded a really good car, and I think that they understand, or Joey understands, that I can't waste this opportunity. I was out a race. I sat out a race. I mean, that is one of the worst penalties one can get, wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Well, yeah. I mean, it is. But these don't happen overnight, you know what I mean? There was it was a lot leading up to that, and you just got to make better choices, better decisions. I mean, watching Kenny Powell though blink, that's going to be an issue for Preby as Schaffner now comes by on the inside. He's going to be trying to get by Powell. Well, you can kind of hopefully figure out where he's going to be.
Yeah, just unfortunate bad luck for Kenny Powell. I thought he had all these kind of issues fixed up, as we see Preby coming up onto the back of the 24 and blinking once again. This is just the worst time to be blinking when you got Joey Preby behind you.
Yeah,
we've seen Preby actually get involved with other blinkers before, actually, if I'm not mistaken. You remember that one time we saw someone blinking and a big accident occurred because of it?
Yeah, Kenny Powell's just like a drunk stepdad right now. I mean, we just don't know where he's going to be. He's undependable. I mean, what's going on here, Kenny?
Yeah, definitely struggling right now. Hopefully he doesn't have any kids over watching Netflix or anything like that,
Yeah, hogging all of his bandwidth.
Yeah, I mean, he always says his internet is really, really good, so I'm very curious. But going back to Joey Preby, though, no, I agree. I think that the penalty was, substantial, but it also was warranted in a lot of ways. But I feel like that's just like I said, that's one of the biggest penalties you can get. And what that does for Preby is it tells him, hey, man, I got to do something different because I'm doing the wrong things. And, you know, it should be a call to action and not a demotivator. And I'm glad that Preby's back because I've seen so many leagues, Big Al, to where someone will get suspended for a race and they never show back up. So I'm just glad that Preby does show back up and he's willing to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so far he has been doing everything he needs to do. He's been staying clean, and we have been green for the majority of this thing. Looks like we are 10 laps to go before this stage is officially in the books.
And loving what I'm seeing right now from Chris Severa as he has pulled away to over a second on Scott Naslin. Of course, Brandon Pasalacqua about 2 seconds back from Naslin here. So a lot of gaps are forming here later in this race. You're seeing the cream really rise to the top when it comes to how these guys are managing their tires. And wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of the data coming back and these guys maybe making some adjustments to see if they can't work out what's going wrong here. Also, you know, a lot of variables out here. I mean, some guys are shifting in these corners, and that could also be something that's very hard to master. This is a driver's track. We talked about that on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. And as this run continues and gets longer, drivers are going to have to do things like result to shifting in order to help get this car to actually rotate through the turns, if you will. Watching Derek Jacobs, he is definitely going to be at risk of going a lap down here at the end of this thing, or at least close to the end of this stage, as Chris Severa continues to actually whittle away at the distance between those two.
Take a nice look through the
36. Want to check out and see what the 36 something's going on.
Oh, it looks like he is having an issue, has wrecked it, it looks like. Yellow flag is out. We're going to take a look back and see what happened here. And we have the 36 up on your screen here. I know that he's also been dealing with some issues as well, Big Al. I do believe health issues, something, injury or something that the 36 is going through. I don't really know the specifics, and I'm sure privacy-wise I don't want to say the specifics, but glad to see him even out here tonight. But it looks like he just got loose, hit that apron. And didn't look like he was able to get it back in order before that caution came out.
Yeah, it looks like the 64 Darren Mullows, the 42 of Jose Acosta, all going to be takers coming down pit road. Now, the person that really benefited the most from that caution coming out, that's going to be the 27 of Derek Jacobs, because he just brought himself a whole lot more time right there, and that's going to allow him to at least stay on the lead lap here, Brian. Now that you've got the 64 and the 42 coming down pit road, these guys are actually probably going to put themselves in an excellent position because they're not going to pit at the end of the stage break, which will put them up front, and hopefully at least one of the two will be able to capitalize on some of that clean air.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be very important. Of course, we have a little bit left to go here in this stage, not much at all. I don't know. I think the pace car light should go off this time by. If not, we're going to have definitely a shootout here. So, you know, the strategy would be if you just took tires there to probably just not drive them really hard. But then again, the temptation is there when you got a pair of shoes and everybody in front of you is on 30-plus lap old tires. They should be able to cut through this field actually quite quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 laps, though, is what they're going to be having to deal with. And yeah, you're right. The one thing the advantage is you kind of cut almost like a laser once you got those fresh tires. But the disadvantage is those tires are going to be cold, Brian, and the temperature on the racetrack is only 96 degrees. So I think it's going to take a little bit longer than they need to get some heat back in those good years.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point as well. And also, you know, they're going to have somewhat of an advantage if they do get those tires up to temperature. But the drivers that are on the older tires, they're going to be more of an obstacle than anything. I mean, when you're on newer tires and you're well over a second faster than everybody else, that is dangerous. You know, we've even seen that kind of play out, I do believe, on Thursday, where someone had stayed out and had a big issue.
Especially on the restart. That's what we're going to be watching for.
Very easy to spin these tires, that's for sure. I do believe we're going to have, I think you're right, a 3-lap shootout here to the end of the stage. Chris Severa going to be trying to hang on as best as he can. This could be a good opportunity, a golden opportunity for Scott Naslin possibly, if he's able to get a good enough restart here. But I do believe pace car lights are out.
The key to that is going to be the ball is in Chris Severa's hands, and that's the reason why he has the clear advantage, because he gets to lead the field all the way around from when the pace car drops, so they come all the way back to that Geico restart zone, and that's a long way. And so I think he is just going to be waiting at the right moment, and he's going to kind of spring it on him there just with the element of surprise. And you watch and see how big of a difference it's going to make here for these guys trying to start opposite him.
There goes the pace car, going to be taking the left turn down pit road. Very curious to see how this works. Of course, Kenny Powell still having that blinking issue, and we guys are on newer tires, and they're cutting through this field. That could be even a bigger obstacle when he's blinking like that. They don't know where he's at, and they're moving a lot faster, and you know, could be a ping-pong match if something goes wrong there. But here comes Chris Severa. He's going to be entering turn, I do believe, 3 and 4, and getting the call to action. The green flag is back out in the air. Chris Severa, just like you said, taking full advantage of his restart.
Big problem for Wojcinski. He comes up in front of Darren Mullins. Those two make heavy contact. That is not going to bode well for these gentlemen. Surprised the caution hasn't come out.
We'll take a look back at this and see what actually happened here. And I think it might have had something to do. Oh, Wojcinski just gets loose on the entry.
Yeah, Josh Schaffner, Kenny Powell mixing it up there just a little bit. Looks like Schaffner had a little bit of DuPont in his corn.
That's definitely not good. Chris Severa, though, looks like he is going to take home the stage 1 victory here as he enters 3 and 4, and he's going to get ready to cross the start-finish line. We've got to wait for the 10th place car of Derek Jacobs, though, to cross the line before that caution does come out. But I think that's all she wrote. Chris Severa is going to be the stage 1 winner. Darren Mullins also looks like he is now 2 laps down, as I think he might have also maybe was involved in something a little bit. I don't know. But it looks like the caution is out, and that will conclude stage 1. Chris Severa, your stage 1 winner with Brandon Passalacqua, 2nd place. Scott Naslin, 4th place. Joey Preby, 4th place. I'm sorry, Scott Naslin, 3rd. Joey Preby, 4th. Kenny Powell, 5th. John Schaffner, 6th. Frank Flores, 7th. Jose Acosta in 8th. Greg Wojcinski, of course, being involved in that accident, 9th. And 10th, Derek Jacobs. What were you getting ready to say there, Big Al?
I was going to say Darren Mullins is actually retired, but he totally just completely, enveloped the back end of Greg Wojcinski's car.
Yeah, and that front end damage can be quite hurt. I mean, it could hurt the car very much, take away RPMs and things of that nature. Now, I think they have updated the damage model as well for these race cars. But let's take a brief step away, and we'll be right back with Chris Severa, your stage 1 winner.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we're going to have Chris Severa joining us here in the booth, our stage 1 winner.
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, definitely glad to have you here, man. Interesting little wrench kind of thrown in the cogs there, the gears, with that caution coming out. How worried were you?
Yeah, a little bit. Fortunately, I think we had enough cars in the field where the guys who came in and got tires weren't going to be too much of a factor there, just as long as we didn't spin the tires. Got a really good jump there, and I think we could have gone maybe even a lap or 2 more, and it would have been. They would have gotten there eventually, but luckily we had enough time to get there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cushion there in between you and the new tire guys for sure. How confident were you coming into Phoenix here tonight? I mean, it seems like you're looking really good. Clean air seems to be important.
Yeah, clean air is definitely important. Just got to keep the right rear on it. And yeah, other than that, I did one NIS this week, and the right rear absolutely dies. So you got to take care of that. It's crucial to the long run. And as long as you can do that, you'll be pretty good. Just got to stay disciplined throughout the run. But yeah, other than that, though, it's going good.
Definitely seems like it for sure, and going to be some more points here for you in the Super Cup season. I know the pace car lights should be going out very, very soon. Who can we give a shout out to after this Stage 1 victory?
Yeah, Guess and Go, TWR. You guys, as always, for putting on the broadcast. Real appreciate y'all. And hopefully, I'm not going to jinx anything because I didn't have a very good finish to my NIS. But hopefully I'm talking to you guys soon.
All right, we'll definitely hope so as well, Chris, and good luck to you.
Thanks, guys.
That was Chris Severa, our Stage 1 winner, and definitely seems confident, don't you think, Big Al?
Yeah, I mean, he should. I think he's led pretty much every lap of the contest so far, but Stage 2, getting ready to get kicked off. Pace car getting kicked off, too, as he's got to get the heck up out the way, because we're going to take this thing green flag racing again. Going to be at the hands of the 62 of Chris Severa, as he is going to lead us all the way back around to that Geico restart zone.
And also, Kenny Powell still having some blinking issues. Has not had a solid lap, I don't believe, here so far tonight. But you do see Scott Naslin going to be starting on the inside. Of course, Brandon Ponsalacqua is going to be up high. Can these guys do something? We'll have to wait and see as the green flag is back out in the air. Chris Severa has mastered the restarts here, it seems like, as he just shoots away from the rest of the pack as Scott Naslin under fire from Kenny Powell. Almost three wide.
That's going to show Joey Preby, Kenny Powell, and Scott Naslin all battling together.
Yeah, Preby definitely making some big moves, trying to see if he can't work his way closer and closer to the front. He's now up into the top 5 as we see Josh Schaffner battling with Jose Acosta.
Yeah, Joey Preby actually started this thing in 11th place, and now he's currently in 5th. That's going to make him our biggest mover, and believe it or not, everybody else is kind of in the position that they all started in. Powell started in 4th, Naslin started in 3rd, Ponsalacqua started in 2nd, and Severa was on the pole.
Well, here comes Jose Acosta as he's going to be trying to battle with Joey Preby here on the inside right now. Of course, Schaffner going to try to maybe take it 3 wide. Not able to get the run he needed to get there, but look at Acosta go. He is driving up through the field.
And now all is right in the world in the top 5. They're all in the exact position that they started in.
Not for long, though, as Brandon Ponsalacqua dives it to the inside and takes the lead.
Ponsalacqua going to be your second leader of the contest here tonight as he gets by Chris Severa. That happened on lap 49 early in the Stage 2. Going to see what he can actually do with this lead, Brian. Is he going to be able to maintain this, extend it? Is he going to actually be able to pick up his Stage 2 win?
We'll have to wait and see as Chris Severa now under fire from Scott Naslin. Now, we haven't seen Severa in dirty air all night long. We talked to him in the last interview, and he said it was important, to be in clean air. So now he is not. He has lost that valuable resource as Naslin is now side by side with him for 2nd place. Jose Acosta also putting a lot of pressure here on Kenny Powell.
Now, one thing to note about Jose putting pressure on Powell, Jose hasn't really been privy to seeing the blinking that Powell is doing. And right there, he kind of got a glimpse of it. So he is going to have to be really cognizant about that, because if he is not, he might find himself all tangled up with him. And that's just a perfect opportunity for some net code right there, Brian.
Yeah, definitely could be very much a possibility there, net code. But it looks like I think Jose probably sees the writing on the wall and doesn't want to really push it too hard here. You would think. That's Jose, right? 100%. But the battling commences still. Scott Naslin starting to pull away from Chris Severa. Kenny Powell actually starting to even catch up a little bit to Severa here. As Schaffner starts to put pressure on Preby.
I think Severa might have a little bit of a play in here because this is a different stage. So right now I think you just want to kind of chill out. You know, like you said, he just run the NIS. He knows exactly what he's got to do to keep that right rear on the car. Powell relinquishes his position to Jose Acosta. That's going to put Jose up in the 4th place.
Yeah, great job to Jose to be able to get by Kenny before he started blinking. That definitely could have been a little bit more of an issue as we see Josh Schaffner getting a little bit loose off the apron there.
Yeah, right in front of Mr. Preby. Preby actually had to dive down to the inside. Interesting note, here comes Greg Wachinski. Jose Acosta simultaneously on the inside running high line against Chris Severa. He's trying to put himself up in the 3rd place. Wachinski has actually battled back from his previous spin, and now he is actually nipping on the heels of Josh Schaffner.
That he is, and you can even see we got Greg Wachinski's in-car camera as well here, so we get to see what the look on his face is. He kind of complained to me a little bit after last week's broadcast. He said, "You didn't show me at all, man." So here's Greg Wachinski. He's got a good view of the battle right in front of him too, as well. Wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Absolutely. So right now, I mean, it just looks like complete chaos. But everybody, trust me, these guys should know what they're doing. Relax, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are trained professionals. This Joey Preby slowly inches up onto the back of the 24. Now, like you mentioned earlier, Preby does have a certain history, I guess you say, of getting tangled up with blinkers. So we're going to be watching him as he is kind of slowly engaging the 24 with Kenny Powell.
Yeah, definitely going to be trying to engage with him. Hopefully not get involved with any accident here. He's kind of walking on eggshells at the moment when it comes to, you know, if he gets another suspension or not. You know, he's definitely already kind of had another big talking to. And they're watching him like a hawk right now, Big Al. I mean, he can't, if he makes a mistake or anything like that, we'll have to see how that all plays out. I don't know what the repercussions would be.
This wouldn't be his fault, though, because it looks like Kenny Powell's down there at the Waffle House plugged into their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, he's at the McDonald's using their Wi-Fi. Oh, look at that. Wachinski side by side with Josh Schaffner as they battle for the 7th place position. And it looks like Wachinski definitely showing some significant speed here. Of course, this stage will be concluding on lap 90 to 91. So still a long way to go here. Over, I do believe, 30 laps still remain.
And I definitely believe that's the reason why you see Chris Severa just kind of chilling out, because he understands that this is we do have a long way to go in this stage. So there's no point of getting out here just totally running your tires off the car. The 36 of Wachinski way back in the rear. Not sure what's going on with that.
I think you're referring to Gary Adamson.
Gary Adamson, sorry. Wow.
At least we got the number right. I knew who you were talking about, though. He's definitely struggling. And then could that come to, you know, be a result of maybe whatever injury or something he dealt with? I wish him a speedy recovery, and I'm glad he felt well enough at least to be here. Of course, we always try to talk good about Gary Adamson. Such a nice guy.
Yep. Derek Jacobs looks like he is going to be taking a leave of absence as he is no longer on the racetrack, being scored down from 3 laps down.
Definitely unfortunate. That means I do believe we only have 10 drivers that remain on the lead lap at the moment.
Means everybody's getting paid tonight, baby.
Yep, that's for sure. You at least can finish 10th. Just keep it together. Look at Josh Schaffner. Got right back by Wachinski. Wachinski, of course, was really putting a lot of pressure on Schaffner, but Schaffner does not fold. He's the Iceman. We all know that.
Yeah, we kept saying it long enough that it stuck, so hopefully he'll take that nickname and run with it and make us proud.
Well, I think he definitely does. I think he enjoys that. Of course, I don't know. He probably likes Corn Man better, but of course he is a very passionate person about corn. As Scott Naslin been making up a lot of ground here on Brandon Passalacqua. Can he catch up here? Well, I think Passalacqua might have drove out a little bit too far and burned his equipment up. But definitely some sizable gaps here between second and third. Over 2 seconds at the moment. But Chris Severa.
Schaffner really coming in hot on that last turn back there. He just smoked this Goodyear's pretty good trying to get that B slowed down.
That's something that's easy. We talk about that update to these next-gen cars. That's one of the updates. They changed the brakes. So, I mean, that could definitely have something to do with it. I mean, Schaffner, if he hasn't had a lot of seat time since the update, it could be a rude awakening. As we see Chris Severa has caught back up to Jose Acosta. Going to be trying to see if he can't get back up into the top three. Of course, Severa, I think, has been saving his equipment.
That was the plan. That's the way I kind of understood it. Is this definitely being a marathon, not a sprint here on this stage?
Kenny Powell turning the fastest laps on the racetrack, 9-second laps. Because he keeps blinking. He keeps blinking, so it's not giving us an accurate readout. I'll tell you, if he was able to turn a 9-second lap, he'd be in the lead.
We're going to have to definitely write him a counseling there for violating our social distancing clause. Speaking of that, the 36 of Gary Adamson down pit road.
Yeah, I think Adamson, he did tell me before the race that he might not run the whole thing, and that could be something to that. Maybe just too much. I mean, this is a 195-lap race. I mean, that's not short. We can't state that enough. I mean, that is a long race, especially if you're not feeling well or having some type of health issue. I mean, this is a race that I wouldn't recommend.
Don't worry, little buddy. I'll be here with you.
But look at Joey Preby able to make the pass there on Kenny Powell. Moves himself back up into fifth. Chris Severa has moved up into third place. Of course, Brandon Passalacqua was still your leader as we have, I do believe, 23 laps to go here in this stage. It's been a really, really clean race. We've only seen one caution based on an incident. Of course, I do believe that being with Gary Adamson. We did see some, definitely some damage still being paid out, even though a caution didn't come out a bit earlier as well between Greg Wychinski and I do believe Darren Mullins. Mullins, as a result, 30 laps down. As look at Preby go, makes it up into fourth, passes Jose, look like he's standing still. A little bit of a loose on the exit, though. I think Preby might have pushed it a little bit hard, but it looks like he is going to be able to maintain and pull away. This is such a difficult racetrack. It requires so much focus. It's almost a lot like a road course. You don't have a break at all. Every bit of this track, you're having to watch out for the wall. You're having to hit your marks. You're having to, treat that gas pedal like it's got an egg underneath it. If you crack that egg, you're going around. There's so many obstacles and things that could go wrong here at Phoenix.
Yeah, you definitely are playing a tune here once you're going around this racetrack. Because there's a lot of opportunities to actually get loose at Phoenix. It's a driver's track, but she is not your friend.
Yeah, not at all. No wonder they make this the championship race. I mean, if you're good here, you definitely deserve to be a champion.
Yeah, this is definitely the New York of racetracks. Because if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Tell you what, Passalacqua, though, is probably looking in his rearview mirror, looking at his relative as you see Scott Naslin only a half a second behind him and closing in. Of course, Chris Severa has also been closing in quite substantially.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, as much as Passalacqua is watching his relative, you understand that Naslin is watching his, because Chris Severa is definitely on a tear right now as he's doing everything he can to get back up to the front.
Yeah, and he's definitely throwing down some fast lap times. He's been just over a tenth faster than Passalacqua and Naslin the last couple times by. So he's definitely showing some significant speed at the moment, and I think that his plan is definitely working. But one thing about it, though, it's one thing to catch someone. It's another thing to pass them. And you know, it's going to be, I think it's going to be hard for Chris to navigate around Scott Naslin and Brandon Passalacqua. Both are talented drivers. But we know Chris Severa, if anybody can do it, it's him. Big gaps definitely forming as well as Chris Severa pulls away from Joey Preby. Over 2 seconds now between third and fourth.
And that's the key here. This is what these guys are going to have to watch. Still got quite a ways to go here in this stage. Just about 15 laps remaining. I think 16 till the flag actually flies. And that's a long way right now. This stage has been 32 laps in duration.
Yeah, tires are starting to wear a lot, I'm sure.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Drivers definitely going to start to feel the woes of the tires here at this point.
Oh, and Jose Acosta definitely feeling those woes. You see that loose spell he just had off of turn number 2? Definitely not having a great time in that 42 machine. I think the 50 almost had to make some evasive maneuvers.
Yeah, Jose definitely starting to kind of trend backwards. He was up to 4th place, but now he finds himself slipping all the way back. Currently in 7th, he's got Schaffner right there on this Heister. So we'll be watching that as he is watching his relative as well. And look at how close Chris Severa has actually pulled up to Scott Naslin and Brandon Passalacqua.
Yeah, he's pulled it now within a second here, only 9/10 back from the leader. Of course, Naslin, though, has turned up the heat as well. And I think you're right. I think you hit the nail right on the head earlier when you said that Naslin is looking at his relative and he's seeing Chris Severa.
Oh, bad news for Josh Schaffner as he got hard into the wall. And then as a byproduct of that, kind of got into the 8 of Frank Flores, caused him to hit the wall.
Taking a look back and seeing if we can catch this accident as Schaffner tries to go underneath Jose and just gets loose and smacks the outside wall. Frank Flores trying to take evasive maneuvers and hits the wall himself, but that was a hard lick for the 50.
Yeah, 2 hard licks for the 50.
That is definitely not going to spell a good vibes from the 50. He's had some bad luck here as of late. Definitely one of the faster drivers out there, but that's just how it goes sometimes. The 62, Chris Severa, all over the 22 of Scott Naslin as the top 3 are all right up on top of each other. With now, I do believe, coming up on 10 laps to go here in the stage. The heat is definitely up right now, Big Al. Side by side for second place as Severa tries to get a run off of turn 2.
And yeah, he looks like he is going to get that run and more. Now it's just going to be a matter of turns before he actually makes his run on the leader, the 6 of Brandon Passalacqua. Passalacqua's got to be feeling pretty good, though. He actually came out here, got the lead quite a few laps here in this second stage. But Chris Severa giveth, and Severa taketh away.
Yeah, and look at that technique that Severa just pulled there. You see he's going really, really high in 1 and 2. And slingshotting off the corner in a lot of ways. Really able to angle that car a little bit more straighter off the corners. I love that technique. And it's going to work like a charm as he takes the lead. I mean, look at Severa go. That guy has such car control. He's able to ride up on the wall and drop down like that. I mean, wow. Just so impressive to see that as Severa looking to see if he can't capture his second stage win in a row. And what's so impressive about this, Big Al, is he was like 3 seconds back from the leader and just all of a sudden started flying. I bet Brandon Passalacqua's head was spinning to see, where did he come from,
I mean, honestly, I mean,
I think
he was just conserving. He's saving his tires, and that was going to be the strategy here, at least for a while. And I don't think he necessarily got faster. I think these guys just got a lot slower. As when you're out there running out front and you don't have anybody to pace yourself against, I mean, it's a lot different than, say, knowing exactly what your lap times need to be through a run of 45 laps. I mean, because that's the data that you're going to need to know if you're going to want to win this thing.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. But definitely, I'm sure that the rest of these guys baffled. I'm sure that they're going to be adjusting the way they tackle this in this next stage if Chris Rivera pulls something like that again. I mean, because I believe next stage probably going to have one of the longest runs I think we've had so far tonight. And if Chris can pull that off, these guys are in some trouble.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are sitting here holding their breath, waiting on these next 5 laps, praying that they go by really quick because, I mean, their cars are kind of acting out. You know, they're acting like those kids that are hyped up on dum-dums and ho-hos in church on Sunday morning and grandma can't get to them, you know what I mean? They're just showing their bad behavior. But as soon as that stage caution comes, these guys are going to get a chance to come in here and kind of dial these babies in a little bit. And I think that's going to be what a lot of people are, that's going to make the only difference right now.
Interesting to see. Of course, you mentioned earlier about Jose Acosta kind of falling in the wrong direction. He sits in 7th right now. Josh Schaffner is actually catching up to both Frank Flores and Jose Acosta at the moment. Even though he had that hit on the wall, I don't think it killed the car, which is shocking just considering how hard he hit.
Now, also, that might go to show that they did update the damage model, so now just because you hit that wall, you're not actually be breaking those toe links. So that's one thing that I definitely think we could see right there. And I did watch, and he did not have a repairs required flag, so that plays out in his favor. And like I said, if he can keep that distance to where it's at, he's going to make this work out in his favor here at the end of the stage, Brian.
Yeah, at least get some points. I mean, that's what's going to matter. Of course, he can't fall below, I do believe, or outside of the 9th place position because Gary Adamson's 22 laps down. So as long as he finishes this race, he's guaranteed a 9th place spot. So that is going to really bring that temptation and the need, I should say, make it necessary to spend as much time in this stage break on pit road, getting some of that fixed, you know. Because he can't lose any more positions than he's already lost, in my opinion. So I feel like now's the time. Oh, Chris Rivera letting it hang out on the exit at turn number 2.
But the white flag is out. Will be out on the stage here once he comes across the line this time.
Yeah, and that is going to bring the white flag. Of course, we have to wait, I do believe, for 9th place Josh Schaffner to cross the line for the caution will come out when we do complete the stage. But what a race we've had so far. Joey Preby starting to put some pressure, I do believe, on Brandon Pasalacqua. He's not far back behind him now. As Chris Rivera will cross the line as your Stage 2 winner. Almost 2 seconds back to Scott Naslin.
Yeah, battle really going on right there between the 42 and the 24. That's going to be the battle for 6th place between Jose Acosta and Kenny Powell.
It looks like Jose does have the pass completed, but Kenny Powell going to dive it to the inside. Caution flag should be out any time now. But I think we might even complete an extra lap here, as we are on lap 92, so that's going to shorten that last stage up just a little bit. But Chris Rivera, your Stage 2 winner.
I think we just didn't have quite enough cars in there to register to complete the stage.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is, Big Al. But back-to-back stage victories. This is going to be bad for the rest of the guys that are trying to go for this Super Cup championship. Because, I mean, 2 stages in a row, that is going to be a massive amount of points. Scott Naslin, of course, finishes in 2nd place. 3rd place, Brandon Pasalacqua. 4th place, Joey Preby. 5th place, Greg Wyszynski. 6th, Jose Acosta. 7th, Kenny Powell. 8th, Frank Flores. 9th, Josh Schaffner. And, of course, 27 laps down is Gary Adamson in 10th place. With that, we'll go ahead and take a step away. We'll be right back with whoever Big Al wants to talk to.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
All right.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I do believe Big Al decided he wanted to talk to Frank Flores, driver of the 8 Machine. Big Al standing by.
Hey, Frank Flores, Big Al up in the booth. How's it going?
How you doing, Al?
Hey, pretty good, man. Just wanted to know how everything's going down there on the racetrack. First and foremost, I mean, how's everything working down there? Is the car handling okay? Are you really experiencing the new tire model? I mean, what's happening?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, something to get used to. I mean, definitely my time's a lot slower than it was the last time we were here back in November. You know, I mean, it's like 5/10 slower, you know, but as the tire wears, I mean, temp-wise is decent, you know, after that run, but the wear is about the same, you know, just trying to manage, still got to manage these tires. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the temps are, you know, are more resilient, I guess, you know.
So getting ready to be set up for the longest run of the night here, possibly with green flag pit stops thrown into the mix. How's your setup for that? Do you think your car's set up maybe more for the long run, or you set up more for the short run?
I think this is more kind of set up to more of a short run. I mean, we would just do about 45 laps, and it's just starting to get loose, get no grip in the front, so we'll just see what happens. I'll just try to manage it better. I mean, see what happens, you know. Just hopefully, just hold on to it, right, Al?
Roger that. Looks like the lights are out on the pace car. You got to get back to work before we let you go. Who are you shouting out here tonight, boss?
I'm going to shout out to you guys, first and most, for the doing an outstanding job on that broadcast, and obviously this league. And also Body Magic, Body Collision Whitman, and EPI.
All right, sir. Good luck to you, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thanks, Al.
That was Frank Flores, driver of the 8 Machine. I do believe he sits in 7th place at the moment as we get ready to have the green flag wave. Chris Severa up through the gears already, wastes no time. He has gotten to be a restart master, wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Yeah, and I think right now he is going to go out there, dangle that carrot, kind of get these guys kind of in a trance, wanting them to get their tires kind of warmed up and wanting them to chase him down. And then you're going to see him kind of slip out of the way, let these guys go on out front, burn their tires up, and I think he's just going to slip into that Severa strategy.
Yeah, definitely worked for him quite well in stage number 2, so I definitely expect him to do the same thing. You know, Pasalaco looks like he is willing to chase that carrot, if you will. Of course, Scott Naslin definitely has been very fast as well. I think he's going to be trying to maybe work his way around Pasalaco. Right behind them is Joey Preby, and I do believe Kenny Powell, who continues to have a blinking issue as Powell goes to the inside of the 16. Very scary to having a blinker trying to pass you, but it looks like he's able to make it by. Definitely a great move there for Powell. I don't think it's over yet, though, as Preby tries to hold off Jose Acosta. Acosta into the rear end a little bit there. This could get hairy.
Speaking of hairy, I think we should just start referring to the 24 Kenny Powell as Brindle Seth, because we're halfway through this thing right now.
I don't get the reference. You have to explain that one.
Oh, Brindle Seth?
Yeah.
The Fly.
Oh. Well, look at that. Scott Naslin takes the lead. He got by Brandon Pasalakwa, now is up front. We saw how strong Naslin was on Thursday. Does he have a chance? I don't think he does if he doesn't save his equipment. I think that's going to be the biggest thing about it. Even though, you know, on Thursday we had a huge amount of talent out there, but I don't know if any of those guys could have stood up to Chris Severa the way he did that in that stage number 2. I mean, we didn't see a whole lot of that on Thursday where guys were trying to save as much, and I think that would have been the kryptonite to those guys on Thursday.
Well, and plus, Thursday was a day after Wednesday, so they were new on that update, which is now drivers have had a little bit more time to kind of figure it out, because you have to adjust your driving styles as the service continues to grow, and I think that's exactly what's happening. But you still don't get the Fly reference?
No, I've seen the movie. You're talking about Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
it's been
yeah,
a long
absolutely.
time. So I didn't know his name. It's been that long.
Yeah, I just think, you know, Powell's here, and then he's kind of in another car, and then he's back. That's all I was saying. He's kind of got, like, the time warp thing going.
He definitely does. But here comes Chris Severa. I mean, he's not letting Naslin get away. Definitely not doing that.
And I think at this point, you know, he's kind of chasing him just enough that he's going to cause him to drive it a little bit hard, because Pasalakwa, if anything, he has taken a page out of Severa's playbook, and he's kind of laying dormant back there. He's not really pushing the issue, because I think he saw what happened to his tires after the end of that long run. So Severa's just going to go out there and keep the 22, because right now, Scott, this is the first time Naslin's been in the lead for the race, so he doesn't know what to expect right now, you know?
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think he hasn't been out front in this race, at least with Chris Severa. He did lead some laps, I do believe, on Thursday, but this is a whole different race. I mean, even the conditions of the racetrack are different.
Absolutely. And, you know, guys have been tweaking on those setups for a while here now, so they definitely have the ability to know exactly how fast they want to go. As the 42 of Jose Acosta comes up on the inside of Joey Preby, these two battling for what looks to be, this is going to be 5th place.
Yeah, we also even have on the screen Joey Preby, his cockpit camera, so we can see what he's looking like as he deals with Acosta. As Acosta tries to get a run on the exit. Look at that, though. I'm noticing a lot of marbles on the racetrack, a lot more than we saw on Thursday. You can actually physically see them kick up when these guys go through certain parts of the racetrack.
And you know that's a part of the new update as well, is trying to make this as more realistic as possible. Ooh, getting really jammed up there as Wachinski now comes to the inside of Joey Preby.
Very close racing between these two. Now, one thing we saw on Thursday that could end up being a problem here tonight was kind of the rules of the road here at Phoenix, the way it kind of goes. We saw accidents happen when guys didn't hold as predictable of a line as everybody kind of thought they would. But if you go back and look at them, they were running that same line every time around. It might have been a little unorthodox, but you don't have to go down there on the apron. A lot of people think that, oh, if I'm on the bottom line, I have to go down there. That's not actually the case, and that could cause you know, a little bit of some drama as we see Kenny Powell blinking once again as Jose almost gets into him there as a result of him not knowing where he's at.
It's always an issue, though, once you bring in those guys back together that went below the apron with the guys that stayed high. It's always fun, but, you know, it's always going to be an issue of who has the right of way, and I think it's always going to go to the guy that's going to be on that high side, because the guys on the bottom essentially are merging.
It looks like Jose Acosta safely gets around Kenny Powell and takes over that 4th place position. Kenny Powell still having that blinking issue. And it looks like Preby is going to make it up back into the top 5. Wachinski now going to be seeing people he can't get by.
And that's just unfortunate for Powell, because I know that he wants to be out there. He wants to be competitive. He's probably got a hot rod underneath him. He just can't, you know, he can't shake off his blinkies.
Yeah, and it's something that, you know, when the race has already started, it's so hard to kind of get that all worked out. You know, he's trying to wrangle this car around the racetrack while being told he's probably blinking. And what do you do? I mean, there's nothing you can do, really. I mean, you just have to try to be as safe as you possibly can, but still you want to be competitive, just like you were saying. So he just, you know, it's kind of a hard line to walk, that's for sure. But we are actually technically in the fuel window at the moment. Of course, a lot of these guys are not going to be coming down anytime soon, just considering how important tires are.
No time any soon. No time any soon.
Of course, they are 18 laps into this stint right now. Still have, I do believe, just over 80 laps to go. So still a long way to go. And I would expect they're going to try to split it in half or maybe go a little bit longer, possibly. Could be the call of the race. Now, I would assume they're 18 laps into this stint. Of course, if they were to try to split that in half, I would assume we're going to see pit stops around 145, 150. We'll have to wait and see, though. Not Naslin, though. He is taking care of business right now. He's actually starting to pull away from Chris Severa, as everybody pretty much is in the line.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see here, too, is because this field is so tight, some drivers are going to drive it a little bit too hard, and by proxy, they might end up having to make this a two-stop race.
Yeah, we did see some guys have that issue. I think it was Matt DeCiani. Remember on Thursday, he was one that short pitted substantially and ended up coming down a second time, but didn't seem like a worthwhile endeavor.
Wasn't it Souza also?
I think Jeffrey Souza, I don't think he was in Thursday's race, Big L. I think you might be confusing that one with last night's race. Was Souza in Thursday's race?
He might not have been.
Oh, look at this. So, Joey Prevey all over the 42. Definitely trying to muscle him out of the way. This is short track racing at its finest.
Yeah, and I love it, man.
Yeah, definitely keeping it really exciting. Go ahead.
My point was, though, that some of these guys, because it's such a smaller field and it's kind of tighter, these guys they're gonna drive a lot harder than they normally would, because they're gonna have that mentality of trying to keep up with not the Joneses but the Sierra, the Severas and the Powells and the Acostas. So this is adding a whole nother dimension here, because now you're sitting there and you're telling the guy, well, your lap times are, and it doesn't matter because he's only looking at the cars that he's with, and that's who he's trying to keep up with. And with that, I think by the time you realize the damage that you're doing, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to have to stop prematurely here, and that's going to make that last leg even that much more difficult.
Yeah, because it's so easy to follow the cars that are around you, to do what they're doing and not run your own race. Let them dictate your pace. And that a lot of times is a pitfall you should not fall into, because, you know, you have to really run your own race. Because, I mean, just like Severa in that second stage, he had the willpower to avoid letting those guys drive his pace, right?
Yeah, but Brian, what happens if you're on the interstate and you're not running with the flow of traffic? If the flow of traffic is running and it's running at 80 miles an hour, and you're sitting here being a good Boy Scout and you're running at 69.7, well, I mean, you see the difference, right? Nobody wants to be the Boy Scout here. Everybody wants to run with the flow of traffic.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm just saying, that's why I'm impressed with how Severa, you know, he doesn't let anyone dictate on that. You know, he's not really necessarily always going with the flow of traffic. You know, and I think that could be a valid strategy. You know, just like a Clayton Hoffman, we've seen him plenty of times not go as fast in the short run and get passed by a multitude of drivers. But then all of a sudden he just comes right back to the field because he knows this is what I need to do. This is the lap times I need to hit.
Yeah, somebody's got to dictate the race pace. You know, that's the whole point. And right now, that person is Scott Naslin, and I just hope that he is. I hope that he is driving at a speed that he can maintain.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a very good point. Hopefully, he is kind of backing it up a little bit more, not trying to really pull away from Chris Severa. It's definitely an intimidating person to have behind you, but I think Scott Naslin is fast in his own right.
I mean, everybody's fast right now. I mean, that's the good thing, you know. But here's the thing: you got to be consistent, because otherwise, we're not going to be talking about you here in the next 70 laps. And those are going to be the guys that got to make it, because you got to be starting to think in your mind, like, number one, I got to make it to my green flag pit stop. That's going to be the biggest challenge right now.
Oh, it definitely will be, and I think in the next 20 or so laps, we'll probably see that even unfold as well, because, I mean, we have all the shapings to see some green flag pit stops here, and we saw that be very much a point of contention on Thursday. I mean, thinking about Jose Acosta, I mean, he spun it on pit road. We saw some other guys get black flags. I mean, you know.
Think about it, too. These tires are going to get worn out. I mean, in your mind, even if you do have a strategy where you're trying to say stretch it for another 20 laps, bring this thing in with 50 laps to go, that's still going to be at the long end of that tire window, man. And we did see guys struggling to get those cars under control to even get them stopped out to try to get down on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, speaking, you know, Jose Acosta was one that had a big issue. I mean, he spun it out completely, got an unsafe pit entry, and went a lap down. I mean, that's about the worst thing that could possibly happen to you for sure. And these guys, actually, probably even worse than that, they would be getting an unsafe pit exit, because then you have to come back down pit road to serve that penalty. But what a fast car Scott Naslin has at the moment. I think that clean air is definitely helping him. I like what I'm seeing, to where he kind of goes up a little bit, you know, to the middle groove in the middle of the corner, and then diamonds it down to get that straight run. And I think that's what is so key about this racetrack. You know, there is banking out there, and it's substantial banking, a lot more than you see at a lot of other short tracks, but still, compared to some of the mile and a halves, it's relatively flat. And you have to, especially when you're coming out of, I think, 3 and 4, you know, or should I say 1 and 2? I'm sorry, 1 and 2, where we have that backstretch where it's kind of a flat backstretch, and you really have to be careful with the way you apply the throttle through there. And to help that, you kind of straighten up your exit. You know, you're not pointing that wheel as much when you kind of do that diamond technique. So I know that's one big thing about road courses as well, Big Al. You know, you usually don't get back to the gas until you got the wheels straight.
Well, yeah, if you want to, unless you're planning on drifting it, yeah, that would be the recipe.
Man, drifting is going to hurt those tires, and that's not something that you want to do. You know, these these short tracks and road courses, you see, slow is a lot of times faster. You know, the thing that doesn't look as shiny and cool is most of the time the faster way around the track.
Well, a lot of things going on here tonight with this racetrack, man, and I'm just watching, because now all of a sudden we're starting to get that separation that was inevitable, because a lot of guys driving way too fast at the time that they were driving fast. Now you're starting to see those lap times really wane. You're starting to see these guys really start to fall back there towards the back, and they're having a hard time. But the bad news is they still got to try to make it at least another 15 laps if we're even going to have any chance of trying to make this thing on one stop.
Yeah, I mean, you can even look at the lap times on your screen. Scott Naslin, 28.795 versus Chris Severa, 28.763. Wow, look at that. Naslin was really fast that last time by. As soon as he crossed the line, I mean, he was 0.2 faster than Severa, but that could be a pitfall he's fallen into. But for the most part, everybody else in this field is hitting 29-second laps, which these guys start out hitting around the 27.3, 27.4, so that's a lot of fall off.
What's going on with Schaffner? Josh Schaffner,
looks like he's
way
down pit
off
road.
pace. Yeah, before that, something happened. I'm not sure. He does have a meatball flag.
I believe he must have gotten into the wall right there. Boom.
Yep.
And that is going to break that toe link, and he is going to find himself heading down pit road, no caution.
Yep, and this is exactly what we're talking about. These cars right now really becoming a handful to handle. And Schofter, you know, he saw his car end up with similar handling woes earlier, and it actually caused him to hit the wall. So, unfortunate for him, he's going to spend a couple of minutes down on pit road. Hopefully, he'll get it fixed sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw, you know, prior to the update, Schaffner was one of the best at saving tires and stuff like that. But maybe this update has taken that power away from him in a lot of ways. I mean, and empowered others. You know, there's something that, you know, seat time. You even mentioned it earlier about when we raced on Thursday. You know, those guys had just kind of gotten that, you know, the hang of the update. And if anybody had maybe not been racing all week or something like that, like maybe Schaffner hasn't running the NIS. And that's another thing we even talked about on Thursday as well, is that this is week 13 in the official schedule at the moment. So there are no A Opens. The only practice you can get is in NIS. And NIS does not run near as often as the A Open does. I do believe it runs on Wednesdays and, if I'm not mistaken, Friday.
Well, why don't we pull Schaffner up and talk to him?
Actually, probably a really good idea. Let's chat him up.
He's in here.
All right, we got him here in the booth. Josh Schaffner, what's going on, man? Looks like just not the right night for you.
Yeah, I got in the wall there. We got a bunch of required damage, so we're just going to get it all fixed here. I don't know if I'll go back out or not. We'll see. But got in the wall there, racing, and I had quite a bit of damage at the stage break there. I think I had 3 minutes and 40 seconds optional. Wasn't able to get it all fixed, and the car just didn't drive good without it fixed, unfortunately. So, unfortunate night, but it's kind of what happens when you don't race all week, and sometimes you just don't know how the car is going to react and what to expect. But still fun to get out here and race everybody. Just wish we could have a little bit more time to prepare.
Yeah, now you think a lot of that comes down to the update that kind of just recently came out, not having a lot of track time with the way that made the car handle, or?
Yeah, probably not so much the update. Just was traveling all week and didn't run any NIS or anything, and just didn't have any race laps before tonight. I thought we were going to be okay there. In stage 1 and stage 2 there, was kind of just trying to get a feel for the car, and car felt good, tire wear was good. Just unfortunately just got a little bit loose there racing, and unfortunately just got in the wall and got the damage, and kind of just ended tonight, unfortunately.
And it seemed like a lot of course you did get that initial damage when I do believe you had that loose condition right before that stage ended, and but then you hit it again. Do you think that might have led to that second contact, that damage that you had?
Yeah, the car built, I actually loosened the car up there for stage 2, and then I actually took that adjustment back out just to be safe, and with the damage, the car just built extremely free, more free than I've been all night, and just unfortunately, just got loose coming through there, and just ran out of talent and couldn't save it.
Definitely sad to see it. Have you noticed anything different with the damage model as well? Because, I mean, the hit you initially took when I think, Frank Flores was trying to make some evasive maneuvers to get around you, and you hit the walls hard, and we were surprised it didn't break the toe links. Do you think that maybe there's a little bit of difference in the damage model as well, or?
Yeah, I did have wheel damage, so I did have a toe link issue there. Just didn't get the donut flag, which was fortunate. So I did have that damage. I was a little surprised by the amount of optional there. Maybe, sometimes it's kind of funky anymore. You could get wheel damage and come down and maybe have 20, 30 seconds. And the next time you'll have 3-4 minutes. But maybe with the new damage model, there'll be a little bit more optional damage when you get those toe links bent. But I guess this is the first time I've hit the wall since the update. So we'll find out. Hopefully we don't hit the wall anytime soon. But I'm sure we'll hit the wall a few more times and we'll see how the damage model goes. But definitely probably a change to the damage model from the previous build.
Well, definitely hate that you've had such bad luck. At least, ninth place, still going to be getting some points here tonight for sure. Not as many as you probably would like. Probably would love to be up there in the mix. But who can we give a shout out to after, unfortunate performance tonight?
Yeah, definitely want to thank G&G and thank you guys, the ISCA, you guys in the booth, and appreciate what you guys do. And always a shout out to TWRS. They've been great this season. Giving us great setups each week, and unfortunately just didn't have enough time to maybe put my time and effort into it that I usually do. And but no, looking forward to next week. And I also got to thank the sponsors, Pioneer and Smith Farms. I know Todd was tuning in tonight, so I apologize for the tough run there. But just want to thank everyone that helps support the league and makes this thing go around.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Josh. We'll talk to you at some point soon, I'm sure, as we have had a change for the lead. Chris Severa up to the point, able to get around Scott Naslin. That is going to be a huge move. Could that provoke Scott Naslin to go down pit road, Big Al?
Ooh-wee. Well, right now, you're right at that mark where you're 53 laps to go. I think within the next 5 laps, you start to see cars come down. And Naslin, I don't think he changes his game plan because he had a number in his head. And right now, I think he's still got to try to stay as close to that number as possible, Brian. It's not time to just throw the baby out just yet. I think we can still salvage this thing.
And wouldn't that be something to finish second in both of these races? We're still a long way to go.
Indeed. And you see the difference between Brandon Pasalacqua Stage 2, Brandon Pasalacqua Stage 3. You know what I mean? So expect when these guys come down pit road, they're going to have to go back out here and drive these cars a little different than they did earlier in this stage, because you're not going to be able to afford to have that type of a gap come up between you and the leaders.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of these guys definitely need to take the lessons learned and change up their driving style a little bit, but very hard to do and implement when you're in the middle of the race, just considering, if you change up, and I found this myself whenever I'm competing in any sort of race, I'll be having someone in my ear that's spotting me and saying, hey, you need to do this different. Well, as soon as you change that up, you could be risking spinning out or something like that, doing something you're not used to. You've already got this repetition kind of in your system, and, it's hard to implement that in the middle of the race, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, green flag pit stop's underway, but you got to here's the deal. I'm not saying you got to change the way you're driving. I'm just saying you cannot expect to go out there and run this thing, with the hammer all the way down, flying through all of the turns and expect that to last for 50 laps. If you're going to want to be competitive at the end of this thing, you're going to have to back the turns up, and you're going to have to be a lot more ginger on the throttle.
Of course, we were talking about green flag pit stops. Greg Wachinski and Kenny Powell have brought it to pit road. And Chris Severa now out to a second lead on Scott Naslin. I think we're going to see some more takers. Brandon Pasalacqua. He's now down pit road, so that is the 6th machine pitting from the 3rd place position.
And so right now, these guys were stuck with the situation by in which, they had really no choice but to come down pit road because they were at the end of their tire life sequence. The cars just weren't handling the way they wanted them to, and it was reflecting in their lap times. Well, the 2 leaders right now, obviously, they're not drinking from that bowl. So
I think Scott Naslin is. There we go. He's bringing it down pit road.
Right. Yeah, right. But he still was actually able to stay out a little bit longer. Now you got Joey Preby, Jose Acosta, and Frank Flores that are still out, along with the leader, Chris Severa.
Joey Preby actually just came down pit road as well, so he's following Scott Naslin down. That's going to put Jose Acosta in 2nd place. Of course, look at the gap, though, between Chris Severa and Jose Acosta, almost 12 seconds.
Severa, leader pit road. Now, these guys, and that's even worse for them because Chris Severa comes out. He's got 46 laps to go in this thing, and he can run fast that long, and some of these other guys, they don't have that option. So what do you do in that situation, Brian, where that you got a car that's set up to run the short run, and you're really going to be getting a peak out of it at 35 laps?
I don't know what you can do. If you're a person that has that engineering mind, possibly you could do something. Jose Acosta to pit road. Now, I wanted to watch Jose because he spun it out on Thursday, and I don't think he's going to spin it out this time. Good job to Jose Acosta. I was hoping that he wasn't going to spin it.
He almost came to a complete stop. It was like somebody was crossing the road in front of him right there, ensuring that he did not get a penalty.
I think he learned his lesson from Thursday. What do you say? As we see Frank Flores lead some laps here tonight. Of course, he's not going to lead for long, but still glad to see Frank Flores getting his name atop of the pylon here tonight.
You know, and Frank said that he wasn't really phased with the new tire model, and I guess he's showing that as he is going to have 60 laps in on this stint. And then look, if there happens to be a caution that comes out right now, that would definitely work out in Mr. Flores' favor.
Yeah, it definitely would, for sure. As Chris Severa, of course, does come out of pit road in front of Scott Naslin, which is interesting to see. We kind of saw something similar, I do believe, on Thursday, to where this is a track to where when you pit, even if you short pit someone, you don't jump in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank Flores down pit road.
Definitely been very impressed also with Greg Wyszynski. He's jumped up into the 4th place position. He's right in front of Brandon Pasalacqua. And I think Wyszynski, he had some bad luck, if I'm not mistaken, on Thursday. So he's probably looking to recover here tonight. Unfortunately, though, Thursday and Saturday's points are separated. So doesn't help you a whole lot, to recover. But, I mean, at least it gives you a chance to save a little bit of face. But Chris Severa looking like he's going to be able to get maybe 2 in a row here. We'll have to wait and see, though. Can he hold on to it? Anything can still happen. I think he's going to end up dealing with lap traffic. Frank Flores coming off the pit road right in front of him, actually.
Go, Frank, go.
He is going to be on newer tires, I do believe, in Severa will be. But I think Frank, knowing him, he's just going to get on out of the way. Can't blame him there. But with the pit cycle all the way complete here, let's do a rundown through the field. Chris Severa, your leader. Scott Naslin in 2nd place. Greg Wyszynski up to 3rd. But here comes Pasalacqua actually going to take over 3rd. So that puts Wyszynski back into 4th place. Joey Preview 5th. Kenny Powell in 6th. Jose Acosta, I should say, in 7th. Frank Flores now a lap down in 8th. That leaves only 7 drivers on the lead lap. Josh Schaffner, of course, we just talked to him. He finishes in 9th, I do believe. Gary Adamson in 10th. 11th, Derek Jacobs. 12th, Darren Mullins. 13th, Paul Olson. Sorry, I should have let you read the rest of them out, Big Al. I wasn't thinking.
No, that's good. Now we're going to work on your 1, 2, 3s.
Maybe we could work on my ABCs next.
You got everybody's name correct, so we're good to go in that aspect.
Oh, I'm not one that is, I'm one that also has that potential to mess up names. Especially, I mess up names probably as much as anybody.
Well, as long as Clayton Powell don't show up here tonight, I think we all going to be all right.
100%. Of course, you see Scott Naslin's actually been doing a good job to try to run down Chris Severa here. But I think that this is what Severa wants. He tries to lull these guys into a false sense of security, kind of to make them think, yeah, you can catch me. Yeah.
And we talked about that, and that's exactly the reason why he is actually able to stay fast for so long.
Because he lets you, he lures you into burning that equipment up more than you need to.
Well, he knows exactly what his lap times need to be, Brian, and so what he does is he just stays within that realm where other drivers, they'll close that distance, they'll try to pass you. They're not actually thinking about, hey, look, if I run this lap at this time, then when I get to this lap, my times are going to be this. I mean, that's the math that you got to have, because that's what's going to put you in the lead come down to 4 laps to go. Or at least have enough tire to make a run for it. And both the 24 and the 42 way kind of off the pace right now. These guys are going to be really kind of shaking hands with the clock here, Brian, as we get closer and closer to the end of this thing.
Yeah, a lot of these guys as well, Big Al, don't have, you know, they don't have that long-term thing. I mean, this is an analytical type of, you know, event here, or iRacing in general. You have to just know exactly what lap you got to hit every time around, and don't let the visuals, the guy that you, oh, I'm catching him, don't let that pull you in, because it sure will. And you have to look at it like it's an equation, Big Al, like an Excel spreadsheet. I think that's what Chris Rivera kind of looks at it like, you know.
You know, kudos to the 42, because if you've been behind someone who has a high ping rate, and right now, I mean, the 24 has a pretty high ping rate. But when you're actually in the sim and you're looking at this guy, his car is almost like galloping around the track. You know, it's not just a smooth.
No, not at all.
Right. So, could you imagine doing that for an extended period of laps?
And you see sparks and things like that coming off of the blinker car. You know, it's a scary thing, you know. But I think Jose's probably about had enough of it.
Yeah, but what do you do?
I guess you got to take a chance and try to get around him. Because he does come up. Oh! This is what's so scary, because like he tries to make his move and he don't know where he's at.
And next thing you know, you're inside the car. You're like I'm
uh-oh.
inside him.
Stranger danger.
Yeah, exactly. Point to the die cast of where he touched you.
Definitely a violation of space for sure.
Yeah.
Almost like an assault in a way.
And you know, you really do feel like you've been violated once somebody's been all like in your car like that.
Yeah, that's my no-no zone. Don't go in there.
You know, they put one seat in these things for a reason.
Yeah, this ain't a passenger kind of vehicle for sure.
Yeah, you don't want Kenny Powell, you know, like showing up in your lap as you're going through 3 and 4.
Been very impressed though with Scott Naslin. He's now got it down to a half a second, but I think he might be burning that candle in a lot of ways here.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest about it, because what Chris Rivera is doing is he's keeping him right there. And nothing against Scott Naslin. Scott Naslin knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, he has got, you know, a tremendously high I rating. It's 3 times mine, okay? 4 times mine. But I'm just saying, Rivera has this way. He's like a brown recluse, where he just numbs the area around you, and next thing you know, your tires are falling out.
Yep. No, I agree totally. I think that's a good way to put it. He definitely lulls these guys into a false sense of security. I think that his I rating, of course, Chris Rivera's I rating is 5,000, which is, you know, triple mine. You know, it's like crazy to see someone with that high I rating, but I think his I rating could be even higher, just considering how fast he is. I don't think it's indicative of what his true talent level is. And a lot of times, you know, we see Rivera doesn't really do a lot of preparing for these races either. I mean, he did, like he said, I did 1 NIS. That, you know, yeah, that's a 156 lap race. But a lot of other people have done multiple NISs this week. I mean, Kenny Powell, for instance, has.
Well, now that you done pumped him up, let me go ahead and bring him on down back here, let's get his head so it can fit inside the car, okay? Now, the one person that can beat Chris Rivera consistently, that's Chris Rivera. I've seen him lose to himself more, I think, than I have him lose to any other driver.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, no, I think you're exactly right. I think that Chris Rivera definitely can he's his own worst enemy in a lot of ways.
His own worst enemy. That's exactly the easiest way to say that.
This thing's definitely counting down, though.
24 laps to go.
We've already been 172 miles. I mean, that is a Long bit of travel here tonight, but we definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in as well. If you like what you've been watching, definitely make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter. We definitely appreciate it. Share it to your friends. And also, if you maybe want to be interested in running with these guys on Saturdays, we definitely, as you can see, are looking for some more drivers to join the ranks. Reach out to Kenny Powell on iRacing itself, or you can you can look up the iRacing Stock Car Association on iRacing in the league section, and apply. Why not? Tell them Big Al and Brian Britt sent you, right?
Yeah. Just tell them that.
Yeah, that'll get you right in.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, honorary pole.
Virgin now on 20 laps to go here in just I do believe one more lap until we have cracked that 20 laps to go. Chris Severa, though, commanding the race right now. Of course, the only person that's even in his zip code is Scott Naslin, who's been right there maintaining that gap on about 3/10. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to do any better than that. Of course, Brandon Ponsalacqua sits in third, over 5 seconds back. I do also want to mention that Greg Wachinski has really started to catch up to Ponsalacqua as well. So could we see possibly be a battle for third? I think that would be a big day for Greg Wachinski, just considering he doesn't come up here and talk to us as much as you would think, just considering his skill level.
Yeah, he is not consistently a dude that is hanging out in the booth after the races. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It will be great to be able to talk to him, especially this early in the season. I think we did get that chance to talk to him once last season. But yeah, he has not been a regular up here amongst us.
Chris Severa, though, has. He has been one that has. He gets an interview every race. That's just I gotta say. I mean, I'd say about 90% of the races ISCA holds on Saturdays, he's in the booth at least once that night, right?
Yeah, we're just gonna say that his microphone has to be as nice as his wheel and pedals because he uses it quite a bit.
He does. It might be wore out as he's starting to pull away from Scott Naslin once again here. Now a half a second in between these two, so I think that Chris has reached that point in the run that his tires are at the optimal, condition right now. Of course, lap time's definitely fallen off quite substantially, but Chris Severa was, I do believe, the fastest on the racetrack, but not by much. Joey Preby actually hit a 28.517 last time by versus 28.501. Of course, Naslin not that slow either, but these guys definitely... I'm very impressed with the speed we've seen from a lot of these drivers out here. Like Preby, I mean, he has been one of the fastest cars on the track. And, has worked his way up into the top 5. You talked about him being the biggest mover. I mean, he started in 11th. Of course, had an EOL penalty to start this race. You love to see it when guys battle back from adversity.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be, one of the biggest movers. The fastest, though, I do believe on the racetrack is going to be Jose Acosta, turning the fastest lap at a 27.537.
Definitely a very fast lap there. So he definitely still has some speed. I think he was one that waited till the last minute to pit. I think he was one of the last, wasn't he? So that makes a lot of sense. But look at that, though. You see Naslin cutting deep onto that dog leg. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people say that's kind of a no-no. But Naslin's been making it work. But I think that might be the key on why Severa is able to pull away on the longer run, though, because he's not going down there. That has been a long-known fact that at Phoenix, if you go down there below that dog leg, it actually damages the car a little bit as well.
Well, it was never designed for drivers to go down there and Dukes of Hazzard it. But drivers, if you paint the line there and you tell them that, hey, look, this is, within limits, somebody's going to go down there and jump it. I mean, it just is what it is. But I think what you're seeing from Naslin is I think you're just seeing him trying to keep Chris Severa as close as possible. But, man, Severa's just at that point now where he is just in his natural rhythm, and he is just rolling and rolling and rolling.
That he is, and Naslin's still trying to go as deep as he possibly can down there as we verge now on 12 laps to go. Of course, Pasalakwa has fallen back even further now. He's got about 7 seconds up to these two leaders. So I think that the classes of the field tonight have been Chris Severa and Scott Naslin. No one has held, I don't believe, any kind of candle to these guys. Maybe in the short run. Oh, Naslin into the wall a little bit there on the exit. But he's definitely, I think he's pushing the limits a little bit more. Because he knows, you know, we're almost 10 laps to go here. I got to do something now.
I mean, wouldn't you?
100%. I mean, now figure something out. But it's just going to be so difficult to get up there to that 62.
Speaking of difficult, and this is going to be a hard pill for the 24 to swallow, because definitely with 10 laps to go, not having the race that he wanted to have here tonight at all, Brian, and to add insult to injury, he actually stands a risk of going a lap down.
He does, and could even go a lap down another way. If he blinks out a whole lap, he would go a lap down. I mean, he has not been solid, I don't believe, one lap here tonight, and it's unfortunate. Not much he can do about it, but he's going to hear a whole lot about it in this broadcast, that's for sure. Also heating up a little bit back here is Greg Wachinski, who was trying to catch up to Pasalakwa. He's pretty close to him, but look at Preeby go. Look at the big run he gets. Preeby's been one of the faster cars as well here tonight. He's looking to see if he can't get himself up into the top four. A little bit of a loose condition there. Is Preeby going to be able to make the pass? He's going to go underneath. And this is at that point in the race where guys are going to have those elbows out a whole lot more.
Yeah, but there's plenty of race space here. Should not be any reason to have any unnecessary, unwanted contact.
There's some contact right there, a little bit. I think they might have touched. But Preeby is going to get...
Oh, they touched again.
Yeah, but it looks like Preeby does get by, and he's going to take over fourth place now. Can he get up to Brandon Pasalakwa? It's going to be a whole nother story. Chris Severa, though, now has increased his gap on Scott Naslin to now a second. Greg Wachinski fought tooth and nail to try to keep that fourth place position. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do so. And now Joey Preeby trying to work his way up to Brandon Pasalakwa. This is going to be a heated battle on who is going to get to talk to me in third place. Wouldn't that be what a story to have Joey Preeby sit out last week's race, get an EOL at the start of this race, and come up here and get a podium.
Yeah, he's still in contention for it, Brian. It's not out of the realm of possibility just yet.
Yeah, I do believe we're coming up on 5 laps to go here.
Looks like Powell is going to fend off the big bad wolf.
This is definitely where the battle is. Can Preeby get it done? He has now 4 laps to go next time by. And he is right there in striking distance as he closes in through the center of the corner. Wow. Preeby's car is rotating very well. But this could get physical. How bad does Brandon Pasalakwa want it? I do believe Preeby gonna muscle him a little bit here, and he's gonna get underneath.
Ooh, way underneath. Very nice move there by the 16 of Preeby. Sets himself up in an awesome position, and now he's gonna get the rotation coming off of turn 3.
And I think he's gonna get the pass completed. He's gonna move up into third. What a story from the 16. Goes from getting suspended to coming back and finishing in third. I tell you what, this guy definitely learned some lessons, and I think he's been driving really clean tonight as well. He's been muscling some guys a little bit, but he hasn't been outright wrecking them like we saw last week, you know, or the other week.
Well, I don't think he did it intentionally. I think he's just a lot more aggressive than he needed to be. And sometimes you have that, Brian, because it doesn't really hurt when you hit somebody in a virtual world.
Yeah, it's just like Mike Tyson always says. A lot of people, as soon as, you know, with social media, they forget that they can get their teeth knocked out, right?
I don't get it.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, you're not there face to face with social media or racing on this service here. This is you know, a lot of these guys are thousands of miles away from one another, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The 42 car finds himself. I think race is over.
White flag is actually out in the air as Chris Severa comes onto the backstretch for the final time. Just a couple more corners, and he will seal the deal for the O'Reilly Auto Parts 200. And here he comes, and he is going across the line as your winner. Scott Naslin, of course, very, very close second. What a great job from that 22. Got to wait for the rest of the drivers to cross the start-finish line here.
Not sure what happened with Jose Acosta, but he was way off the pace there towards the end of this thing. And now he's going to be scored a lap down.
It seems like something definitely went wrong for Jose there. We unfortunately missed that. But that will conclude the race. Scott Naslin, of course, finishes in second place with Joey Preeby in third. Brandon Poncelacqua fourth. Greg Wachinski finishes in fifth. Sixth place, Kenny Powell. Seventh, Frank Flores. Eighth, Jose Acosta. Ninth, Josh Schaffner. 10th, Gary Adamson.
Derek Jacobs in 11th. Darren Mullins, 12th. 13th shows Paul Olsen. And 14th, I don't even think Pedro Enrique even suited up.
And I actually looking to see what happened to Jose, because you were talking about it, and I'm wondering what happened. I think he was all by himself here. I think he spun out. So let's see. A little bit of, I thought he might have had some, yeah, he just got that apron, got loose, kept it off the wall though, and for now, hey, good. He gets points for keeping it off the wall. Did not bring a caution out or anything like that. He lost a myriad of spots and a lap. I definitely wanted to see that back in rotation there to see what had actually happened. That way the fans out there can see what happened to everybody's favorite driver, Jose Acosta. But let's go ahead and take a step away. We're right back with your post-race show.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
O'Reilly.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely a fine race here tonight with the O'Reilly Auto Parts 200. Definitely a lot of different leaders here, or should I say two different leaders here tonight. Chris Severa and Scott Naslin. Of course, Joey Preby going to be joining us here. How you doing, Joey? I mean, man, third place. I mean, last week you were suspended, had an EOL to start this race, and you still were able to jump up into the podium. You know, what did it take to be able to do that?
Lots of practice and patience on this track. Not trying to slide the wheel tiles and just trying to hang on some spots. With the tires getting loose and stuff. But just a good setup and a lot of practice.
Yeah, definitely seemed like you came here unloaded with a very, very fast setup for sure. I know at certain points and key points of the race, you were the fastest on the racetrack. What do you think would have been different if you had that ability to start up front? Do you think you'd have had something for Chris Severa and maybe Scott Naslin?
Yeah, I think I would have had a chance, but I think I still would have probably ended up where I am because I kind of messed up that final pit stop. I think a little slow on entry to this entrance of pit road. So I probably would have had a little bit of a chance, but I think with that pit stop, I probably would have ended up where I was.
Well, definitely a great day back. I mean, how important was it to get as many points as you could here with missing last week's race?
Oh yeah, it was very important to get as many points as I could. Just based on missing ace and stuff, and for playoffs and stuff. Still got a lot of time, but it's gonna pay off in the end.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to try to, you still have a long way to go, but it definitely could. You still have a chance to claw your way back. You definitely seemed like you were running really clean out there. We're really racing very clean. Loved every bit of it. What were some of the challenges, though, of the racetrack itself? I mean, it seemed like with the update, was it very different?
Yeah, with the shifting, I'm still used to kind of looking at the RPMs from before the update, and it's I missed a couple of shifts and lost some time there with not just missing shifts from looking at the RPMs and stuff. Still trying to kind of get used to how the call feels. It feels a little bit tighter and has a little more grip, and doesn't want to tone, and it's it's a little different, but I think I'm getting used to it pretty quick. Just got to put in some time.
You definitely seemed like you were getting very used to it out there. Great job to you, Joey. Atlanta, of course, the super speedway version going to be coming up next week. How do you feel about that track?
I feel all right about it. It's super speedway stuff. I think I'll do good. You know, I've never raced it. But I've done some tests, and it seems like it's gonna be fun, good competition, and definitely a challenge too.
Well, definitely thank you for your time, Joey. Who can we give a shout out to after the third place finish? After you started in 11th, I mean, you are the biggest mover as well.
Uh, Everyone at Waco Motorsports for a great setup, and you guys for a great league and broadcast, and Kenny for running this league, and having the league.
100%. I would definitely second that for sure. Couldn't do it without Kenny Powell putting on the league here and bringing all this awesome talent. Well, thanks for your time once again, Joey, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you next week.
Yep. Thank you.
Alrighty, that was Joey Preby. definitely a great job to him tonight. What a story that is, seeing him come from 11th all the way up to 3rd after an EOL and missing last race. But definitely love a good redemption arc, I guess you could say. Of course, next up, Big Al is going to be standing by with the 22 of Scott Naslin, our second place finisher.
Hey, Scott Naslin, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. How you doing tonight?
Man, I am actually doing pretty good. We have to start meeting like this.
Yeah, I'm always the bridesmaid, not the bride.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we're going to have to try to figure out a way that we can actually get you back up in the first place, man.
Yeah, Chris had us covered. I tried to save tires to try to have something for him, and I had nothing. He was on rails.
Yeah, well, not a bad effort here. You did lead 43 laps, so that's nothing to shake your head at. Another solid second place finish. Chris Severa definitely is on a little bit of a different level than a lot of guys, so don't feel bad about that. My question to you is, though, is there any major difference in the way your car performed this week versus last week?
Well, I made some adjustments, and to be honest, last night when I ran NIS, it was a lot better, and I felt like it was better tonight than it was even Thursday. So, yeah, it just wasn't good enough.
So, any woes that you're experiencing from the new update, or is everything just still peachy keen with you?
I really like it so far. I have found out last night in NIS, I do not like the pit road here at all whatsoever when a caution comes out.
Yeah, pit road can be a little bit tricky here in Phoenix.
Yes, sir.
But overall, you guys came out here, you qualified solid. I mean, you qualified actually in 3rd, brought it home in 2nd. And overall, it's a great night. Didn't tear anything up. Next week, we're headed to Atlanta. What are your thoughts about that one?
Well, just like I said Thursday, I'm going to try not to die.
Roger that. But I think it doesn't echo in eternity if you die in a virtual world.
No, it does not. But, next week at least we'll have some A Opens to get some laps in and really know what the car's going to do.
Well, absolutely. And can't wait to see you guys, what you bring to the track there for us. Before we let you go, though, who you shouting out tonight after your second place finish?
Don Wheaton, Chevrolet, GM, Cadillac, Abruzzi Racewear, Brooks at Hyperforce, Will, and everybody else on the team.
Roger that, sir. Congratulations. And as always, don't party too hard.
No, I won't. And once again, congratulations to Chris Severa and Joey for these top 3 finishes. So it was a good night of racing.
Alrighty, that was our second place finisher, the 22 of Scott Naslin. Definitely 2 second places in a row, Thursday and Saturday. You'd love to see it. This is a guy that is going to, I do believe, be visiting Victory Lane. I can't get the words out, apparently. But I definitely have been very impressed with what he's been able to do. Of course, next up is our winner, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Severa. We already talked to him here tonight, and what a job. I mean, I think our jaws kind of fell out when we saw how you were able to do that in stage 2. You handled it completely different than you did in stage 1. You dropped back to about 3 or so seconds back from the lead, and all of a sudden you just clicked a switch, and those guys were like, where did you come from? I mean, did you know that was going to work, or were we just testing the waters?
No, I didn't really know how far out those guys were going to get. I was just kind of running my own pace, similar. I felt like I was just running a similar pace to what I did in stage 1, and I just kind of let those guys go. And like I said, I didn't think they were going to get that far out there, but I definitely had to push a little harder in that stage to get back to them. So the tires weren't as good for that. in stage 2 compared to stage 1, but no, it was fun. Because the dirty air here, once you get like within half a second of somebody, is just so bad. So being able to search for different lines like that, how we had to in 1 and 2, that was pretty fun. Didn't really have to do that too much in NIS, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like you kind of took that last stage and was almost a hybrid of how you handled stage 1 and stage 2. You know, because you had an ultra conserve in kind of stage 2, and you fell back, and you kind of jumped back up through the field, and were able to win both stages in a row. You're actually going to get maximum points here tonight. I mean, I'll tell you, in this Super Cup Series, I don't know if these guys are going to have a chance. I mean, I think the only time that they're going to be able to get even close back up to you is when we hit playoff time. What do you say?
I don't know about that. Don't know too much about my schedule. I don't really see anything coming up, but you never know. But you know, we go to places like Atlanta next week, so I'm sure I'll be either in the Kench fence or at least in row 10, or if not deeper. So
yeah, definitely things could go very different there at tracks like that for sure. And I know we have a lot of tracks coming up that are kind of right up that alley to where, you know, anybody could probably find themselves in victory lane. Of course, we've asked a lot of the guys here tonight about the update. We haven't really had a whole lot of chance to hear from you. I know you did the one NIS, but how do you like the update to how the car drives now?
yeah, it's a little different. Still kind of the same in some ways, but you definitely don't have to slow down as much as you did before. There's still a little bit of saving to it, but you definitely don't have to, I feel like, let as many people by as you did before. You can run a little bit more like your true pace, and like one turn doesn't like ruin your tires. You know, right there in stage 3 was a great example. Scott was able to get around me and then just save right in front of me, and that was a blast too. Just because I thought I was going to be able to save enough and just again walk right by him, like how we did in stage 2. But he did a great job, and dirty air was just such a factor. I just couldn't get off the corner behind him, so I don't know if he made a mistake in 3 and 4, but if he did, I'm sure that's probably the only reason why I got by him. But then once we got back out in front, you can see just how important clean air was. But yeah, I think it's the tires. It still needs a little bit something, but it's going a good. It's going the right direction.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting you say that about, you know, you could mess up one corner and it's not as impactful, which is interesting to me because I thought it was the exact opposite. So I'm glad that you were able to kind of, you know, give us that information. You know, for somebody who's actually on the track and had to go through as many laps as you did here tonight. How are you feeling though? Tired? I mean, like 195 laps is not a short, you know, jaunt.
No, with the last minute change, decided to go with the shifting setup, just because I felt like it gave you just a little bit more, especially going through the dog leg, that stretch. I just felt like you got a little bit more speed with shifting. So shifting on both sides of the track just did a little bit more to it. Yeah, my right wrist and shoulder are pretty beat up after that.
Well, you definitely better break out the ice. I know you kind of already answered how you're feeling about Atlanta. Not sure how that's going to really go. I mean, can't really be confident when it going to a super speedway. But still, you know, if you stay out of trouble, maybe it'll be good. We'll maybe talk to you again. Who can we give a shout out to, though, after this big victory? 115 laps led on the night. That is a lot.
Yeah, everyone at Gas and Go. Team Watson Racing, 3F Racing. Everyone at the ISA, big shout out again to Scott and Joey. They both put on fantastic drives. Kenny for putting on the league, and you guys, as always, for doing a fantastic broadcast week after week.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate your time, Chris. Congratulations once again, and we'll see you next time. And, man, what a race, Big Al. I mean, this has been a good one. I mean, race was definitely good. It had its high moments, but I'll tell you, to have a race that has only 13 drivers in it and be this exciting, you can't ask for much more. I mean, everybody out here so talented. I mean, we saw close racing. Of course, we did see some spreading out, but there was some still close racing. I mean, there were positions that were still up for grabs. I mean, we saw Scott Naslin finish within a second of the winner.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was great racing all the way around. And that's just a testament to the caliber or the quality of drivers that we get here in the ISCA. So thanks to Kenny Powell for putting it on. Thanks all the drivers for participating. Thank you for joining me up in the booth. And man, it was just a great time.
That it was. Definitely congratulations to our top 3 finishers and the guys that tried to stick it out. You know, definitely sad to see Kenny Pound with his blinking issues kind of all race plaguing him. Of course, Josh Schaffner with his issues as well. So definitely going to be, I think, putting some light bulbs, I think, going off in some of these guys' minds when it comes to, you know, the need to actually put some seat time in with this new update. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but you can already see that a lot of guys are getting used to it, and we're seeing some phenomenal racing as a result. So I think this has been one of the best updates we've seen thus far. But if you want to continue to keep track of this Saturday series, make sure you tune in next Saturday. We will be at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Should be actually called Atlanta Super Speedway. It is essentially flat out around the whole track, but could we see, because of this updated tire model, that not be as much of the case? Of course, there's still going to be a lot of variables in play there for sure. Of course, tune in with us 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The broadcast will be starting around then, and of course, the race itself will go green flag a little after 9:30. Tune in with us also on Thursday. We have a completely different cast of characters that are just as exciting to watch for sure. But we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next time.